bluehost.com/pardon. And with that, we will now go to our interview with Danica Patrick.
Okay, first impression, when you saw Big Cat walk in here, did you...
We're talking to Danica Patrick.
We're talking to Danica Patrick.
Has anyone ever told you kind of look like Freddie Mercury?
Yes,
many
times.
This morning, actually.
And I have a voice to match.
Did you think that he was a BMW owner because he had that shirt on?
When you saw the BMW Motorsports, you're like, boom, that's a car guy.
I actually thought it was beyond just a car guy. I thought you were like an owner.
Oh, maybe.
Not just of a
Who
BMW,
knows?
but maybe of a race team.
No, well, actually, I am an owner. I own this shirt, and I own 2 jumpers and 1 pair of pants that all say BMW Motorsports on it.
Got it.
So big time.
So
owner.
you're like that typical like Ferrari owner where you have to have the shirt.
Yeah.
I actually have a Ferrari jumpsuit just like that, but
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you're talking
you have
to
a
some big
Ferrari?
car guys.
No comment.
Yeah.
So I'll keep
That
guessing
would
on
be
that
a
one. No, I didn't say it.
All right,
Took the
so
fifth.
let's formally introduce. We're here with Danica Patrick. We're here talking. We have Excedrin, migraine. You have migraines.
Not right now, but I have.
We're gonna make sure that you get one. Are you the first question about migraines? Are you now the most prominent migraine haver that Terrell Davis
Good question.
is in the Hall of Fame and no longer talked about?
Wow, that was a
He scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl with a migraine.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh
for the
wow.
Broncos.
Well,
He's
I
a
can't
one-cut guy.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that.
Okay, so second most famous migraine haver.
Migraine sufferer.
Okay.
Because I haven't driven with a migraine yet.
You haven't?
Or
Oh,
caught
wow.
a touchdown with a migraine.
So have you had a migraine before where you're like, I'm done, I got to shut it down for the day, I can't drive?
Yeah. No, I've never had one and had to drive.
Got it.
I get migraines after I race. So Sunday,
Whoa.
Sunday night.
That's just the Sunday scaries. It's like when you're just
Worried about Monday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh man,
That's
I gotta
just
go to work on
anxiety.
Monday.
So I'd be perfect if I was in the workforce then. I just skip work.
You
Yeah.
skip on Monday. That's what
Or
you do.
you could be like the people who have migraines and be like, oh, well, I actually have to go to work.
Right.
And then
So-
they don't talk about it and they're just the unproductive ones in the corner.
Yeah.
and
What,
then you take the Excedrin and you can work.
Boom.
what advice do you have for Percy Harvin? Because he dropped out of the NFL because he had migraines.
And also
Well,
he can
I will
catch, but-
say that I had him in my fantasy league at one
Oh.
point.
Okay.
And I didn't
Very
know his
interesting.
name, but they were like, oh, no, he's good. You want him.
Because he's got migraines.
You got him in
No,
solidarity.
This was
Yeah.
many years ago,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah,
I kind of remember that name.
He's been out for a
I
few
mean,
years.
let's face it. I don't know every NFL guy's name, but did he really drop out from migraines?
Well, that's what he said.
He
Yeah.
couldn't catch. Is really the reason.
It was a good spin zone on his part.
Yeah, it was very nice.
That's
Well,
why I
and
never
it-
made the NFL, is because I have migraines too.
Well,
I was going to be a
then
star.
you'll relate to the 360-degree video that is on Excedrin.com of like what the viewpoint of a migraine sufferer is.
Virtual reality for
Virtual
migraines.
reality.
I like
That's
it.
some next level stuff.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. Well, it's 2017.
2016. It's
We've-
2016.
What?
You j-
That's-
She
I
did the
don't-
math.
I don't know why.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just both think
I,
that's
all I
2016.
have a
kept
real
thinking about
question.
is 2017, and we had a total eclipse. I mean, things are evolved.
Did you look into the sun? As a migraine haver, did you look into the sun?
With the glasses on.
Okay.
But
Safety
on the other
first.
hand, thank goodness I didn't get all the genetics because my dad went to the doctor the next day and he's like, "Hun, I'm kind of blurry and I see some spots in my eyes." And she's like, "Well, why?" And he goes, "Well, I was looking at the eclipse
Yeah, that's awesome.
without glasses."
That's a
on.
badass.
If the cure for migraines was in the center of the sun during the eclipse, would you have stared at it?
Well, of course.
Okay. There you go. Badass.
Yeah, that's a real badass move. All right, I got a real question for you. Where
We'll
do you go to the bathroom when you're driving?
Nowhere.
So race car, I don't understand that. So race car drivers just don't use the bathroom when during
They
races?
can, but I don't.
Okay.
You ever-
Because ever since I was 2, I guess, I've been potty trained.
Oh, well.
Oh man,
That's-
lucky you.
That's kind of a
Another
sucker's errand.
one you got on.
Yeah.
You're like, just last week,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
Don't brag about
Yeah.
everything.
What about
here.
that astronaut that drove from Houston to Florida with a diaper on? Like, do you ever consider doing
Getting
that?
weighed down by the end of that, wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
exactly. Get
happened?
pretty soggy. Yeah, you don't remember that?
No,
The
I
love
don't
triangle astronaut?
I do not remember.
Wow,
that.
you need to do some more reading, buddy.
Oh, okay, next
The
time.
things that people do.
Right. So I actually did read an article with you. I think it was in People. You were talking about your Instagram, where you you do the thing where you show how you can make yourself look a lot better from a certain angle as opposed to like from other angles.
Yeah.
And me and Big Cat are kind of the same way. We're aspiring Instagram models. You can probably tell.
I see you got a tank on underneath that
Ooh,
shirt.
that's what they call it.
Real life.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Yeah.
So
This is my interviewing.
what we like
Danica
to do is
Patrick
we
look.
put the thumbs under the biceps. But I struggle because
do that with never mind.
I'm not tall. So is there a way for me to look taller in my Instagram pictures?
I've never. I feel like we're in 2D in pictures, so you don't really know how tall you are anyway. I think that's all in your mind.
I just need to start hanging out with shorter
just
people.
don't stand next to tall people.
Yeah, that's a problem that I have.
I'm tall.
You can write a post and say something like being 6 foot is tough because there's not always as many jeans as you need to like fit that height, or make it up 6'5".
Well,
Yeah.
Big
No
Cat's,
one will know.
Big Cat's like 6'10".
Yeah.
And
'Cause
so
people
when I
meet
stand
me
next to him
and-
as a guy that's 6'2", it makes me look shorter.
Precisely, you both
Yeah.
need to grow.
Um,
But for
Emotionally.
me, but in all seriousness, people meet me and they're like, "Gosh, you're so much smaller in person."
That's not a nice thing to
And
say.
I'm
No,
like,
It's not.
"Well,
People say that to me. They say you're not as fat in person. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
well, they don't quite use those words, but then again, I'm a
nice.
girl and they
Yeah.
know it's sensitive."
All right, I have a real question for you. This is a real question.
Okay.
You face a lot of criticism in your career. At what point were you like, I'm just tuning out the haters? You putting on the spoons, the hater. Remember that fat ginger kid?
Baller blockers.
Yeah, you putting on the hater glasses, and you're like, forget it. I don't care about anyone else out there.
In all seriousness, I will say that I think that social media is this open forum for mean people,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're not mean.
mean girls brought to life.
Yep.
But for me, most of the time, the things that people are saying about me are from strangers. Now you're a kid in high school. Guess what? Ain't nobody talking to you that doesn't know you. Nobody's following you that doesn't know you. So that's a lot different. If they say something mean and it's like that adolescent sort of stage where you're insecure or you're trying to get attention or flirting, whatever weird thing you guys do.
Yeah, sup.
They that can affect them. I feel like that can affect a kid because they're like, oh wow, you walk down the hallway and see me. Maybe that's real. But when somebody says something mean to me on social media, I'm like, haha, you don't even know me.
But it still affects. I mean, we have fairly large social media accounts. You still see the negative stuff more than the and the negative stuff sticks more than the positive stuff. It's
Of
it's
course.
just like human
Isn't it
nature. It sucks.
it sucks.
It sucks.
I
So the
just-
hater blockers are not on fully. What about the hater blockers in the NASCAR world? Like
You know what
fellow
I do with
drivers?
really mean people? I report them.
Ooh.
Heck
Okay.
yeah.
You're
I don't
snark.
Just,
You're a
I
narc.
don't just block them. I report them.
Okay.
This should not be on Instagram or whatever. Heck yeah.
What about your what about fellow race car drivers who are or maybe haters or doubters? Do you tune them out, or are you still like every now and then?
Again, they don't say something to your face. So every now and again, you get a little bit of judgment or opinion. But I feel like usually it's about something that could maybe go either way.
Right.
On those same lines, who would you say is the face of NASCAR right now? We're big face of sports guys.
Face of sports.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be Dale Jr.
Still.
but he's retiring.
Yeah,
What
but
about-
he's definitely the
So it's
face
like a
of
Derek
NASCAR.
Jeter situation.
What about the confirmed facts that people let him win races because NASCAR likes him more?
Yeah. Do you believe in that theory? We have a couple theories.
Look, nobody
you have
lets
some
him
time,
win
yeah.
races. Nobody lets him win races.
But it's
I
good
wouldn't
for the
say.
sport, would you say?
The only thing that's ever been a suspicious element in NASCAR is when they conveniently throw yellow flags.
Huh. Interesting.
Does that happen more often for Dale Jr.?
There's actually been a lot less of that this year, and so we've had some races that go green for a really long time and they're really boring and blah blah blah, and we're all like, gosh, I can't believe there's been. And so you want to have your cake and eat it too, but
Right.
If you're gonna complain about it, you better be ready for the other side of it. I like to think that for the most part, as many times as it hurts you, it's probably gonna help you.
So connect the dots real quick. We're not conspiracy theory guys. We're connect the dot guys.
Big difference.
Dale Jr. is the face of NASCAR.
Yep.
When he wins, NASCAR raises its profile,
Yeah,
but they don't let him win races? Huh.
bad business.
I think we just gave you a migraine.
You gave me a
mean-
migraine.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
It's
There's
like
a lot to think
Oh.
about.
things that give you migraines for me: races,
Shitty interviews.
family
with us.
issues,
Yeah.
the universe not having an ending, and
Wait,
that.
back up.
Whoa.
Back up. What was that?
Okay.
What was that shit you're talking about? The universe?
Oh, is it like black matter
All right,
or
so we got a
black
question
dark
for
Yeah.
you.
space?
So, do you
Yeah.
think that the sun is hot?
Well, it's actually pressure that is being put on all the molecules that creates heat.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
it's-
why is
so
space
it's-
cold? We don't actually have it. That's our second play on this playbook. We don't.
There's less matter.
So then space doesn't exist because you
Less
can't,
matter.
Well,
I didn't say no matter.
fewer matter, actually.
Fewer matter.
All right, so we're not car guys.
This matters fewer than other
Yes.
questions.
Yeah.
So we're not car guys. So I want you to explain something to me. A carburetor. What's that? And why does it break?
Well, there's a screen and it gets clogged. And
Okay.
No, that's I'm not a very technical, so this is
Got
going to
it.
be fun. A carburetor is what controls the
Flow of
amount
oxygen?
of gasoline that goes through.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like rich is like too much fuel going through.
Got it.
Foul spark plugs, doesn't run clean.
You flood it.
Flood it.
Yes.
okay.
Kind of like that, yeah. Lean would be not enough fuel going through, and that would then create too much heat, not enough fluid, and it would stick. It would.
What about
would
a
blow
rotary
up.
digger?
That is not something I'm.
don't
I'm
think
not
it's
a.
actually
I'm not a
real. I think
gardener.
Big
Yeah,
Cat
it's
made
not
that
real.
one up, yeah.
Right.
One
Yeah.
time I threw a
What
rod.
about the defibrillator in the car? What do you do with that?
Oh.
I don't. There's a defibrillator in the car.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you had me fooled. I threw a rod one time because I was driving too fast. Not to brag. You think I could be a NASCAR driver?
Did you throw a rod or did you blow? Did
You
you
blew a rod.
push
I
a
blew
a rod
the
through
engine.
okay.
Blew that.
You blow.
I blew that
Blow
fucker
that
right
thing
out.
up.
Yeah, right through the hood.
What about?
Sorry.
Here's a
Sorry.
good. Here's a good question I wrote down. Is it true rubbing's racing?
That is a good question.
I
Thanks.
mean, I think I'm just trying not to take this sideways. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Too much
more
rubbing's
about
bad.
hitting,
Yeah.
but
It's a little rubbing.
little rubbing
You need a little
happens.
contact in the
But
sport.
there's definitely bumping,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
hitting.
Confirmed.
So we're constantly searching for workouts that can have us lose weight and get into shape without actually having to stand up.
Cool.
Do you burn calories during a race?
Without having to stand up. Oh yeah, it's like we have about a marathon heart rate or like a
Really?
So we basically run a marathon every Sunday.
That's
So we could
crazy.
which
just
is why I'm so skinny.
That's
we could
crazy.
just go for a drive then instead of a spin class. Just like commuting
Well,
2
but
hours
you'd
a day.
actually have to get strapped in, be on a knife's edge the entire lap, not have any time to really look it down at your speed.
So just speed really fast. If you drive super fast on a highway for 2
reported
hours at a
breaking
time.
news.
But you
Danica
need
Patrick
corners.
says if you want to get skinny, just go really fast in your car on the highway.
Write that down.
There we go. All right, we're running out of time. We have one last question, or do you have one last question? I have one last question.
You can
I-
each have one. I
Okay.
like you guys.
I just
Ooh.
want mine's
Don't
not
say sorry either.
Sorry,
Just
sorry.
do it.
Sorry.
mine's
Sorry.
not really a question. I just would like to educate you on something that you probably haven't heard before. That race car is the same forwards as it is backwards. It's a palindrome. The word race car. So when you get into the car, I know there's a look of bewilderment on your face because no one's ever told you that. But when you get in, do you get confused to go forward or in reverse because it's palindrome?
I tell you what, you just gave me a migraine.
You want another one? Ready? A butt tuba. That's a palindrome. A butt tuba.
Yeah,
That's a
you're right.
palindrome.
Good
Go
question.
backwards. Go do it the other way. A butt tuba. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, my last question. I wrote down pit crew.
Yeah, you can ask the question because that was a statement.
That was it. Pit crew. Do you ever notice when your pit crew is not having a good day? Can you feel it? Are you like, all right, these guys are not on top
Well,
of
when
their
you're stopped in your pit box for 25 seconds instead of 11, yeah.
game?
You should get Rick Pitino in there refueling.
Yeah,
That would
he'd be
knock
fast.
that time down.
real fast.
We were either down on people or actually we were down on equipment. Last weekend we had, give me a gun, like in Days of Thunder when his gun sticks. It's like, give me a gun. It jammed.
That's
Yeah.
my pit crew.
Well, you're kind of, it's 5, Bong.
So does
All right,
somebody,
that's a lot of good audio.
do they hit the
radio there.
do they hit the car to tell you like, okay, it's time to go?
Tap it.
That's what I do when I get out of lift.
When
I
you
just
clo-
tap it
yeah,
twice.
Like when you take the groceries out of the trunk, you tap it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Good to go.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Nope.
4-wheel or 4 tires and fuel. When it drops, you go.
Okay.
Drop because they keep the left side jacked up until the left side tires are on, and then I do that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's. Are you a good parallel parker? That was my last question.
You know what? I am an excellent parallel
Do you
parker.
use the camera?
Absolutely not. I
Okay,
have
good.
to see I use the
'Cause that's
rearview mirror maybe
bullshit,
for
people.
once, but then
Yeah.
the side rearview mirror, I look the side rearview mirrors
Yep.
for the most part, and then kind of turn around. But it's all about the approach, man. It's got to be, and it's got to be fluid, and you go in, pull forward, and back. Done.
And
If
those-
you have to do a little wiggle waggle,
Yep.
you better start over.
It's all about the
start
preparation.
over.
Millennials, they're using the backup cams now.
They've ruined parallel parking.
It's
I
gross.
can't straight park for my life. But
that's
parallel
interesting.
parking, maybe I should try that in the race this weekend.
What do you mean you can't
Maybe I
straight
should.
park? What do you-
Well,
like,
like if
just
you're just
go
pulling
into-
into a stall, like pulling into
Yeah,
a
like in a parking, like
parking
in
lot,
a
like a
shopping
regular
mall.
parking lot.
But you can go.
Gosh, I'm terrible at that. I'm just really terrible.
You ever
at
got
that.
into a fight in a parking lot over a parking space?
Yeah, I every now and again there's a finger,
Yeah.
and it's a number
Love it.
one.
Gets the adrenaline going. Do you ever just drive your race car
I
around
win.
your like neighborhood?
I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to drive my go-kart around the neighborhood to break in the engines because they'd come and you have to kind of go slow and easy and build up the RPM, build the heat up, and so we're doing sounds today, right?
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
That's the only sound I got.
And then they would always call the police.
Oh,
Somebody would
Narcs.
always call the
Wow.
police.
Narcs.
Or
That's
then,
where you learned your narc behavior,
Yeah.
reporting
My-
people online.
yeah.
yeah,
No offense.
yeah, I'm going to report them.
All
Yep,
right.
they taught me as a young child. And then my sister and I would drive our little 80cc four-wheelers around, and we would be literally wide open everywhere we went. Whee!
I also read.
And
on
there
your,
was some people who would call the cops on that.
I read on your Wikipedia that your parents met at a snowmobile event.
That's right.
So
My
what does it
my
feel
mom
like to
was
Swagger Jack
her
Sarah
nickname was
Palin?
Captain Traction because she put the studs on the on the belt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
Your mom
okay.
sounds like a cool lady.
Yeah. Captain Traction.
Captain Traction.
Okay. All right.
That's what they call me too.
And then my mom and dad got set up on a blind date by a lady named Sue, which is why my middle name is Sue.
Sue.
Huh. Interesting.
Huh. Full circle. All right, Sarah.
Full moon.
Excedrin, migraines. If you get a migraine, take Excedrin. Danica, we appreciate your time. I hope this wasn't the worst interview you had today. I feel like it might have
No.
been.
Will you tell
You're
me about
still
your?
eyeing
Will
that
you tell me
BMW
about? No,
Motorsports.
actually, will you tell me about your bracelets before
So
we go?
these are magnets. We're into junk science. Are you a junk science person?
If you mean if junk is like crystals and stuff.
Yeah, oh, crystals,
Are you
yes.
crystals? We're big crystals.
Okay.
Crystals, like Tom Brady. Actually, we were just talking about it before.
You got any
this.
moonstones on?
No.
Ooh,
Or,
what's a moonstone?
or Labradorite? I didn't think
Can I-
so.
What is
Labrador,
that?
right?
Does that tell us
It's
what-
made
how
out of
you're
dogs?
feeling? So if you're, what does gray
It's
mean?
not a mood ring.
Oh, I
It's
thought
not
it
a
was
mood ring.
Okay.
These are,
Labradorite.
they're all
Different.
like energy cleansing,
Yes.
positive
Okay.
vibes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we get along. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we're all.
I
about
have
that.
I have crystal bowls at home, sound bowls.
Hell yeah.
Do you ever?
Those aren't cheap.
Have you ever had Russell Wilson's concussion water? That might help you with the migraines, actually.
Yes.
Have you ever? You guys should look up this YouTube clip. It's not a clip. It's like an hour and a half. But it's
Loose change.
Human. It's the human respond, like the human, something about the human consciousness and the effects of water and whatever metaphysics. It has a lot to do with metaphysics, and so it's about how intention changes water. So you'll talk to water and you'll say I love you, and then there's that glass, and then
it's
I
water.
hate you, and you put that glass down. You tell what it's the emotion attached to that water, and it'll be from the same water source, just different word association.
Gotcha.
And then it shows what under a microscope what it looks like with the word intention associated with it. So
you.
I'm all in.
So you
Positive
talk to
self-talk.
water.
I need to.
The
yes.
Instagram haters are definitely not getting to you.
No. No, dude, I've got moonstones on. I am.
I'd like to.
fine.
I'd like to send a message to Hurricane
I
Irma
burn
right
Palo
now.
Santo
Buzz
like
off.
it's my job.
off.
Hey, Hurricane Irma.
Yeah.
Turn
Get
around.
the hell out of here.
Turn
Back that thing up.
around.
Yeah, so we're junk science guys. We're if you can give us a shortcut. To
Is
life,
that deuteramite or is that what are
I don't know
the
what
stones
it
in the
is.
second one?
Yeah,
We've
there's
got
stones,
turquoise going
there's
on
metal.
and copper. I see
Yeah,
copper.
heals me. We actually we have a woman that we speak to every now and then who can speak to death.
Dalmatian jasper is what I think that might be.
Oh,
that.
you were calling them out.
Look at that, you're getting it, and this is just a rubber band. It looks cool. Yeah. All right.
All right, we could go on for
yeah.
days. If we're getting onto crystals, then we're losing it.
You ever see that? Well, no, actually, I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
You ever see that Craigslist ad? That funny ad? I wrote a blog about it a while ago. It was a
She
dude-
probably read it. Yeah.
There's a dude who just had. He was like crystals. He was like, I got crystals, but the punch, like the whole point of it was like, I'm just looking for another dude to jerk me off. He's like, any dudes out there love crystals as much as I do? And then like, it's like after like two paragraphs, he's like,
the only reason why
really,
you know is that you responded.
Yeah, no, I wrote a blog about it. It was for my job.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You kind
Sure
of
it
have to.
was. Sure it was.
Yeah, all right, well,
And then all of a sudden you have crystals. It's
yeah.
all so weird.
I'll find it for you. I'll show it to you.
But
after
it all
this.
makes sense. So many synchronicities.
All right, we'll actually wrap this up with one last question. Who's the most famous person to your cell phone?
Oh, good question.
Thanks.
Great question.
LeBron James?
Oh,
You want to give him a call? He's actually been on our show before.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's give him a call.
No.
Come
wanna
on,
call?
just a little call. Say, hey, what's up, LeBron?
My phone, I have no pocket.
Just text him.
But so, can someone get her phone for us real quick? All right, Danica, thank you so much.